So hello everyone and welcome back once again to the today's session over the design of footing, okay, which is the last part for the design of Porter frame with hinged base, okay. So after a long after the long time, I'm here to continue and to end the last part of the design of Porter frame with hinged base, that is we have left with the design of footing, okay. So after the so many comments and the reviews, actually I have to place this video before so many days, but because of some problem I could not prepare this video. So in today's session I am going to finish the design of footing for the Porter frame with hinged base, okay. We have completed with all the design elements, like we have finished with the continuous slab, beam, column and the design of hinge, and the last part we are left with, that is design of footing, okay. So in the design of footing we have the two things required, okay. First of all, the axial load acting over the footing, that is nothing but P, and the moment, axial load and the moment M, okay. So these things we need to find out first. We need to calculate from the previous calculation, okay. So first of all, we have here the axial load, as we have done the load calculation, okay. So if you go back and if you check, we have the load acting over the beam is, okay, suppose this is the beam and the load acting over the beam is, we already calculated. So we have got the load acting over beam is 27.32 kilonewton per meter, 27.32 kilonewton per meter, and the span of the beam is 10 meter, okay. These things already we have discussed in the previous sessions, okay. So if you could not remember, please go through my the previous videos over the design of Porter frame. So the axial load will be, so for that it will act as a vertical force over the column, okay. The reaction of these two, the reaction of load will act over the column, because the beam, whatever the load carried by the beam, it has to transfer over the column as the axial load. So this will be WL by 2. If you check, it will be WL by 2. So we get here it is 27.32 into L is 10 divided by 2. So we get the load transferred by beam over column is 136.6 kilonewton, okay. So this is the load from slab, that is the lie load and the dead load of slab plus the self weight of beam, okay. Total together the acting over the column is 136.6 kilonewton. Apart from this, we have the weight of column also, okay. Now we have to add the weight of column, okay, weight of column. So for that we assume the size of column as 0.45 by 0.6, 600 by 450 we have assumed already, into 24 into the height of column you have to take. So the total height is 4 meter minus the depth of beam you have to deduct here, so 0.75, okay. So because we have assumed the depth of column beam, the depth of beam as 0.75, because if I show it here, it will be like this. We have the column again here, and here it will be beam. So the depth of beam is 0.75, okay, and here we have the slab, okay. And the total height, suppose from here the total height is 4 meter, so from here to here it is 4 meter, okay. We consider total height only 4 meter, 4 meter minus 0.75, so we get the clear height of column, the clear height of column. So this will be 4 minus 0.75, because the beam depth is 0.75, okay, into density. So we get this as 21.06 kilonewton. So total load acting over the footing is 157.6 kilonewton. So this is the P, okay, which is very important. This is the P acting over the footing, 157.6 kilonewton. Okay, then we have to find out what is next movement after getting axial load. One more is the movement. Okay, so for that again you have to refer the previous videos. Okay, so for P it is over. We have the movement acting over the column. If you see the movement diagram, okay, and if you study, we have got the movement like this in the frame and like this, okay, and this, the movement here you have got it as 151.7 kilonewton meter. This is already discussed in the previous videos. Okay, you go back and check. We have got the movement here at the joint 151.7. So, and this height we have calculated, it is 3.74 meter. 3.74 meter. Okay, so therefore the movement acting over the column, it will be 151.7 divided by height. Okay, m is equal to 151.7 divided by height. So we get here it is 40.56 kilonewton meter. So this is the moment acting over the column, that is 40.56 kilonewton meter, because m into h, okay, if you make, you will get movement. So that is, okay, force into distance. Okay, so force into distance we get movement. So 3.74 height we have to make it. So 151.7 divided by height is 3.74. So we get 40.56 kilonewton meter. Okay, so this is the moment acting over the footing. Okay, acting over the footing. Then we have to next, by using this axial load and movement, we have to proceed with the design of footing. Okay, and next we will find out the eccentricity. Is equal to m by p. Okay, m by p. So we get here the eccentricity m by p. The moment is 40.56 into 10 to 6 divided by the P is 157.66 into 10 to 3. Okay, so we get here, we check. So we get here the eccentricity is 257 mm. 257 mm. Okay. So now what you have to do? Okay. So here to avoid, so the purpose to calculate the eccentricity. So here to avoid tension, in the foundation or footing, to avoid tension in the foundation. So what you have to do, the width of the foundation, the width of foundation should be equal to 6e. You have to take 6e, because what will happen? So if you use 6e minimum width of foundation, 6 times e, then there will not be tension in the foundation. Okay. This what about the concept about 6C is discussed in the design of cantilever retaining wall. Okay, there you can check. Okay, so 6E is 6 into 257. You have to make it. Then we get here it is 1.54 meter. So let us take 2 meter. So for factor of safety, if you get less than 2 meter, you take 2 meter only. For factor of safety, to avoid a tension in the footing, so you take 1 point. If you get less than 2 meter, you take 2 meter only. Okay. So what is that tension means. Okay, so I would like to discuss about that. What is tension? Okay, so here if we check, so when a column and footing subjected to axial load, okay, so the footing rests on soil, correct? So that soil will develop upward pressure, will develop the upward pressure. So we have the different types of upward pressure. You get uniform pressure, non-uniform pressure, like that. Okay, now first of all about the uniform pressure. So this is uniform pressure. The pressure intensity is uniform throughout the area. You can see this is uniform pressure. So this is possible when the CG of load, and this is possible when the CG of load and the CG of footing both are coinciding. When the CG of load and the center of footing both are coinciding, so that time you get the pressure uniform. Okay, and when the footing is subjected to only axial load, when footing is subjected to only axial load. But in case the footing is subjected to axial load plus movement, like in our case, you have got the footing subjected to P and M also. So that time you will get the pressure distribution will be like this, or like this. What you got in the cantilever retaining wall, okay, the pressure distribution. So it is a non-uniform pressure. Pressure is not uniform here. Correct? Understood? So these are all are positive. Means purely compression. Purely compression. This is one case. So here we don't have any problem for design. Means it is safe to carry the force. Means it is safe in sliding, also in overturning. These two cases are also safe for sliding as well as overturning. Okay, but one case, that is the tension, is very important to take care. So one more case is there. You may get the pressure will be like this, the pressure distribution like this. So it will be for this portion it will be like this, and this portion it will like, so this is negative and this is positive. So when you get negative, it is called as tension. Tension means what? There is a settlement in the foundation. There is a settlement in this part. In this part there is a settlement in the foundation. So settlement means what? This side, this part of the footing try to settle, and this side means what will happen? The soil is try to push. So that time the possibility of overturning will be there. क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? इस जोन में footing is try to settle down, but in this part the pressure is try to push. So that time what will happen? The footing tries to overturn. Means it is a not suitable, or it is unsafe. Okay, so that's why we have to avoid tension. We have to avoid tension in the footing. This is possible. This is also possible. This is also possible. We can have the design for all the three cases of upward pressure. But if you get like this, then it is unsafe. So that's why we have to avoid tension. So that's why to avoid tension, what you have to do? So here it is, to avoid tension in the foundation. To avoid tension in the foundation, you take minimum width of foundation should be 6E. 6E, and E we have got already, it is 257. So 6E we get 1.54. So as I suggest, so my suggestion is, if you get the B less than 2 meter, you consider 2 meter for safety. Okay, then we have further calculation now. Okay, so here I can write, so therefore let us provide footing size of 2 meter by 1 meter. Means it should be like this. Your footing will be, this weight is 1 meter and this weight is 2 meter, and we have the column here. So this is 450 by 600. So this weight is, 0.45 and this weight is 0.6 because we have the column size as 450 by 600 mm. Okay, understood? So the fixing of size is very important to avoid the tension in the foundation. So we are going to provide 2 meter by 1 meter. Okay, now we'll move on to further calculation. So here we can check, therefore so we have got the size is 2 meter by 1 meter. Then we'll move on to the pressure calculation. Okay, now by assuming the pressure distribution, because we already used the size of footing more than 6E, so there will be no tension in the footing here. So we have the footing as well as we have the pressure distribution diagram. Okay, so here it is P, the pressure P. Understood? Then we have the size of column is size of footing is 2 meter, and this width is 0.6. 0.6. Okay, in plan here it is it will be like this. This will be 0.45 and here it is 0.6. 0.45 by 0.6. Okay, then so we have to find out what is this P. Okay, so we have to use the equation by equating. So get P by equating the summation of upward load equal to summation of downward load or the force. So the upward is here, so this is upward, this is upward, and this is downward load acting through the footing. Okay, so for this we have to consider the area. So summation of upward load, half base is P, half base height is P, base is 2 meter. So this is 2 meter, half base height equal to, so the load is 1.1 times, so we have to consider 10% of the footing load. 1.1 times 157.66. okay, this is the load acting, the axial load acting over the column. 1.1 times, so we get P here. From this we get P as 173.426, which is less than 200 kilonewton per meter square. So what is this? This is nothing but SBC. This is nothing but SBC. This is nothing but SBC. So our pressure, the maximum intensity of the pressure, this side we get maximum, this side we get minimum or zero. So the maximum pressure intensity is less than the SBC. So hence okay. Understood? So then we have to check for, because first of all we got it is safe in upward load or the upward pressure, so it is okay. So next, the next is now pressure at the face of the column. Pressure at the face of the column. Pressure at the face of the column. Okay. So now you have to find out what is the pressure acting at the face of the column, because this is a cantilever part. So what you can see, so I'll redraw this part here. Yes, this part. This is the cantilever part. So what will happen? Because of the uplift pressure, it will bend like this. The bending will be like this. Okay. So for that you have to find out what is the intensity of pressure at the face of the column. So to get that, what you have to do? So you can use again. So this I'll use it at this as P dash. Okay. And we have these distances. This is out of 2 meter. This will be 0.7 because 2 meter minus 0.6 divided by 2. So we get this as 0.7 and this also 0.7. So what you have to do? You have to use the similar triangle. This by this and this by this. Okay. So if I want to show it here once again. So we have got the triangle like this. So here it is P, already you have calculated, and here we have to find out what is P dash. This you have to find out P dash. So already we have got this as at the face of this. So 0.7 plus 0.6. So this distance will be 1.3, and this total distance is 2 meter. Okay. So it will be P by 2 is equal to P dash by 1.3. P by 2, that is this by this. Understood? This total distance. This by this is equal to this by this. So we get from this we get P dash is equal to 112.73 kilonewton per meter square. Okay. Understood? So now we have to refer this pressure distribution diagram. Okay, this pressure distribution diagram. So the pressure distribution diagram will be acting at the face of the column. It will be like this. Because further we have here, okay, it will be like this. But this is the pressure distribution diagram considered over the cantilever part. Okay. So here we have got this as 112.72. This you have got it is as 173. 173. So we have to divide into two parts, that is one is rectangle and one more triangle. So for this height we get this height as 173.42. so this is 0.42 minus 112.73, so it will be 60.7 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so this part, rectangle plus triangle. So now what you have to do? Okay, so here now so the total pressure acting on cantilever part or cantilever portion. So this you have to refer. So one is rectangle, one more is triangle. So for I'll write here half base is 60.7 into height. This is 0.7 because the cantilever part is 0.7. This is 0.7. 1.3, 0.7. This is 0.7. Okay, into 0.7 plus rectangle. Rectangle is the size of rectangle is 112.72 into 0.7. Okay, so this is the force, the total force pressure acting over the cantilever part is per meter width considering. So we get here 100.0 0.17 kilonewton per meter, or if you don't write also it is fine, because kilonewton per meter, okay, per meter width of ship is acting. Then again we have, so here this acts okay, so this acts at cantilever distance of, now we have to find out the cantilever distance. So for that, x bar is equal to summation of a by x upon summation of area. This you have to use. Okay, that is here I'll rewrite. So 112.73 into 0.7 into 0.7 by 2. So this is for rectangular part, and triangular part we have area into x bar, half into base 60.7 into height, half base height into 2/3 of 0.7 into 2/3 of 0.7 divided by the total area, total force 100.171 already we have calculated. Okay, equal to, we get it is 0.374 meter. Okay, so what does it indicate? The part, that is the rectangular portion and the triangular portion, act at a distance of 0.374 meter. Okay, so therefore bending moment, force into distance you have to multiply. Bending moment due to upward pressure, it will be 100.171 into 0.374, so it will be 37.46 kilonewton meter. So therefore mu will be 1.5 times 37.46 kilonewton meter. So we get here it is 56.19 kilonewton meter, 56.19 kilonewton per meter. Understood? So इतना मूवमेंट है जो कैंटिलीवर पोर्शन ऑफ द फुटिंग एक्ट हो रहा है. कैंटिलीवर पार्ट ऑफ फुटिंग, इट इज एक्टिंग ओवर द कैंटिलीवर पार्ट ऑफ द फुटिंग. So therefore now depth of footing, as per the moment consideration, depth of footing as per bending moment consideration, okay, by equating mu is equal to mu limit. आपको equate करना है mu को mu limit से. Okay, so it is, you have got already 56.19 into 10 to 6 equal to mu limit. Mu limit is 0.138 FCK B D square. Okay, so we get D here 142.68 mm, sorry, 142.68 mm. As per the moment consideration we have got, but the one more factor is here for depth, which is very important, that is shear. Okay, I repeat once again, the important consideration for depth of footing is shear. Okay, so for that what you do, so for shear consideration, increase depth is equal to 2 times t. You increase that, you make it double. So we get here 285.67. So it will be, I'll consider 290 mm. 290 mm. Okay. Then, so we got the depth 290 mm. And by considering the cover by using cover, that is the effective cover, what I can say, that is D dash 50 mm. Okay, so the total depth will be 290 plus cover 50, so it will be 340 mm. Okay, 340 mm. For shear consideration we have increased. Okay, next we have to go for the area of reinforcement. AST equal to 0.5 by FCK divided by 415 into bracket of 1 minus square root of 1 minus 4.6 into mu is 56.19 into 10 to 6 divided by FCK BD square. FCK B into D is 290 square into BD. B is 1000 and again D is 290. Okay, so we get here 559.3 mm square. So later what you have to do after getting AST, you find out, you assume the diameter and find out the spacing of bars for the diameter what you assume. Okay, so this is the end of the last part of that is the design of footing for the last part for the portal frame with hinged base. And again regarding this, if you get any queries, you can write it over comment box or you can contact me. Okay, thank you very much students.